Hello everyone, this is my second painting video and I'm going to paint UCM Hanoi in the paint scheme of my UCMF Battlefleet Task Force Europe, and I will show every step and explain what I'm doing. First of all, we need contour blue or any dark blue that is dark enough to cover in one coat. Also, my paint is a bit dry. Shake it well. Okay. So some of it on my wet palette. Very thick color. A little bit of water and my biggest brush I have. And then I just paint the whole thing blue quickly with one coat. I primed the model black first. I will remove it from its base for now. And I do know that this gun will be metallic, so I'm going to hold it on it for ease. So this paint scheme is for my task force in a Dropfleet. It's taking part in the community campaign to retake New Eden, even though I am deployed on the fringes of the Kalium system and I am fighting Kalium forces most of the time. So I got some paint on this stem. I will clean that up later. Okay, so the engines are going to be metal as well, so I'm skipping painting them. I'm just looking to paint everything that is basically just hull. Need a bit more of the color. Already ran out. Bit more water. So that's the first part done, first base coat done. Now I'm going to paint all the metallics. So I take Iron Warrior. It's a very dark metallic. You can use any dark metallic you like. I really enjoy the dark metallics. In recent time, especially Iron Warrior. Very, very, very dirty dark metallic. So now, for now I have to use still a big brush, but it's for some detail work on the front, because those prongs are going to be metallic. If you use a lighter metallic, you have to use 2 coats. I really enjoy dark metallics. They cover mostly in 1 coat over any black primer. I'm not really that worried if I get some metallic on the blue, because I will clean this up later anyway. Okay, so the prong is done. Let me check more of a ship. So I painted those rifled parts also metallic, so I will do this again. When it's dry, also I'm seeing some blue paint pooling. I don't want any pooling here. Just using my damp brush to redistribute the paint that is trying to dry, so it covers more smoothly. And also dries faster. Okay, now I can see that the guns are already dry, so I'm going to paint them now. I just go around the ship, paint everything I like to be metallic. Obviously I'm using my cruiser as a reference for the time being, because that's the first battleship I'm painting and I have no idea what I'm doing. Also, those vents on the guns need to be metallic. It's always good to have the model that you're referencing near, so you can look up stuff you did already. It's only the first model you really need a plan for. If the first model is done, just copy. And you can improve on the techniques you employ. But base coating is not something to improve upon, except for being neat about it. But that also comes with time. I'm not stressing, just painting. Okay, so I want all those little orbital guns, or defense lasers, they are defense lasers, to be metallic as well, so I'm going to paint them quickly as well. I like using a big brush for most of the painting. Only if I get into the real detail work I use smaller brushes. Because big brushes are fine if they have a nice tip on the brush. And they are fast. Big brushes are fast. You apply a lot of paint. That looks quite good. Paint the front here. Those small defense guns. Okay. What part next? So this is going to be blue and orange later. Parts of it at least. So this part here is metallic. And on the side. Full in color here. Oh wow, there are a lot of those small guns all over the ship. 3 here, so they are on the other side as well. There we go. And we have some here. A whole lot of defense lasers. Okay, so those are done. Now all those antennas going to be metallic. Going to use my big brush now. Okay, so there is this imaginary line here. So it's not imaginary, there are plates here. And there's the cutoff line I'm going to paint with metallic towards. There's a nook here. Now the engines are going to be metallic as well. And I'm going to use this line here as boundary for it. Now, let's have a look at the engines here. Okay. So I'm going to up to here. Go in with the detail brush later. Right now I'm just blocking in the main color. for the engines now. Top side as well. Okay. Now I have to decide which details here are going to be metallic as well. So I think this to here, and then there's this part goes along there which does have a different texture than the plating around it. So this is metallic. This is going to be metallic. Up to here, to here. I think that looks good. Same on the other side. Fill this. Type paint. Okay, it's more metallics done. I do think so. I do think that I'm going to paint this part metallic as well, so it breaks it off a bit, just for visual interest. Going to paint a stripe of metallic through here, as the plates are separating here and here. I can use this as an excuse to have a metallic stripe just there. Breaks it off for visual interest. Now the big mass driver is going to be metallic, as all weapons in my fleet are metallic. This will be as well. And now there's a vent here. It's going to be metallic. Just looking for some details I can pick out with metallics, so it's not just one solid block of blue. Because one solid block of blue is not visually interesting for anyone to look at. works. So let's have a look. Okay, so all of these rifled things need to be metallic as well. So I'm going to paint them metallic. It's quite a big ship. So there are going to be a lot of details I'm going to paint in metallic. So I think this whole section here is metallic. Whenever you paint something like this that has some segmented plates and some greebly, if it's only one solid color, most of the detail will vanish from a few feet away. So it's a tabletop miniature, so it's going to be looked at standing on the table most of the time. So you want to pick some visual interesting bits, even though that's the underside basically, but people will look at it and it will catch the eye. So yeah, I think the line will go through here. So I'm going to use these plates here as a separator, and I will paint between them. And do metallics in here. And I'm going to use this armor plate on top as separation. Camera won't focus. Same on the other side. Using the armor plate as separation. And I do think I will extend the prong part here with metallic as well until I meet this plate here. Yeah. That does work quite fine. Now I want to go the whole way back into here and paint this whole thing metallic, and then I see that here are armor plates like here, so those are going to stay blue. And now, so go in here, goes right after this armor plate. to have the rest of the metallic. So it looks like it goes into the hull, into the plating. And now I want to mirror this on this part here. There's some metallic on the bottom part. Probably like this. So I just painted in here, only in the most inner part. Only metallic here. Ooh. Okay. I think we're getting somewhere. This looks good. Now let's think, do we need some more metallic parts? Yes, I do think I need some more. I want this line here metallic. Because it looks like machinery is going to join into the engine part here, and I want separation for this. That does look good. Now I'm going to paint some orange. Orange is a notoriously bad color to paint, but there are things you can do to mitigate this. First of all, I need some orangey yellow, that's a pastelly orange. You can use any pastelly orange or pastel orange. This is going to help the actual orange coat I'm going to use stick better. Because on blue it will not cover. You will see that even the pastel one won't cover quite that well, but that's fine. Now I have to decide which plates are going to be in orange. So I think there will be a name on the ship as well. So I have to think about this, because on my UCM ships they have names. And I'm going to do the same for this ship. So I have to think where the plate with the name will be, and I think it will be this plate here. Even though I would like to have it more towards the front, I think that's not feasible, as these plates are too small. So this will stay blue. I wanted to say, and then I painted it orange. To clean it up real quick. Okay. So let's do this front plate here, and only the top. I'm going around just to indicate orange color for myself, where it's going to be. And as you can see, the color is not very covering, so it's not covering the blue very well, but that's completely fine for now. Now I'm going to do this and this plate. Not this one. So how do I decide which plates are going to be orange? It's more of a feel. So I want enough orange to read as a spot color, but not a lot. So those two plates for the nose. And if we compare it to this ship, you can see that that's basically a very big, so this nose is basically a very big version of this nose. So this orange plate is basically those two orange plates. If this whole part would be orange, it would be too much, so it's separated by a blue part here. Now I'm going to do another orange here, so it has the split like here. So I'm going to use this plate for some orange. And the small plate in front of it makes it look a little bit more coherent. Also, I spilled some orange over. Just damp brush and then remove excess. I'm going to repaint it quickly. So. Okay, so that looks quite okay. Still does feel like it's not enough. I think I'm going to use those two plates to have it look more coherent. So this plate and this plate. Yeah. Okay. Now we have the back of the ship, and this ship also has some orange on its back. So I'm going to do the same here and decide which plates are going to be orange, and I think I'm going to use this one, and this small square one here. So I went a bit overboard here. Okay. Now we have some orange on the model. Then all the guns have some orange on the sides. And I think that's mostly it. Yeah. So that's the orange blocked in. I'll do some small cleanup. A few parts I went over with some metallic, but there will be a cleanup step later on. So also I painted on those engines. I went overboard, so I want this to be blue. So basically it encases the engine. That looks better. Okay. So now I'm going to wash the model with non-oil. Where is the non-oil? Or any black wash. You could use any black wash you have. And for this, the model will go back onto its base. Because I'm not holding the model while I wash the whole thing. It will probably need more wash, like so. That's just a quick all-over coat of the wash. Just make sure that it doesn't pool too much, like those antennas here. They are very prone to flood with wash. As you can see here, it's already flooding. So we are not working neat or anything, we are just distributing wash all over the model. And this step will take a while to dry. While it's drying, always keep a lookout for too much pooling on some parts, because washers like to do this because of gravity. They will pool on the most bottom parts of the ship, especially on those UCM ships. All those antennas and stuff, the color will just flow there and stay there. Those antennas will basically just be caught in wash. Okay, so that's all washed up to here. Top is washed. So right now I'm just flooding the model, and I'm going to have wash everywhere. And after this, I'm going to go around and look for any pooling that's too much, and then just remove the excess. Or better, I will redistribute the excess, because I want a lot of wash on my model. I want deep shades, I want harsh shades, because they are very small. Those models are very small, and I want the wash to shade it properly. So I want a lot of wash. Okay, so now there is wash all over the model. Turn it upside down. And now I will have a look where the wash is pooling too much. So in those details, it's a little bit too much wash. Just picking up the wash and redistributing it over the panel. Also in here is a little bit too much. The guns, redistribute the wash over the whole gun. And then, as you can see here, there is a lot of pooling going on. So I'm going to go in and dab away the excess and redistribute it amongst the panel lines. Some pooling here in the engine. And some pooling in here. And just redistribute. So I'm looking for even coverage. So now that does look good. It looks very wet. It will dry. It's fine. Let's have a look at the underside. So we have some pooling here. Here. And there is a lot of pooling going on here. This is also one of the why I'm using a big brush. It can hold a lot of wash while painting. And if I have to soak it up and redistribute it, it's very easy to work with. So, this does look good. Now it's going to dry, which will take a while. Also keep an eye on it, because now the model is standing upright and the wash on the underside will start to form pools on those antennas. And I can already see it is exactly doing that. So this is real excess, so I just dab it off. It's not a lot for now. I think that's fine. So I will let it dry, and after drying time I will come back and then work on the metallics again, so just some dry brushing, and then I will clean up the model. All the blue parts will be cleaned up, and then I will paint the orange so it covers with the color I wanted, because as you can see, this orange is way brighter. And after that I'm going to put in some white details like crew quarters and such. And then it's up to edge highlight the plates, and then the ship is done. So I'll be back. Okay, so I did let the model dry for a bit, and I had to watch out because there was some more pooling, but now it's dry, and as you can see, it's completely fine now and washed. So for the next step, I'll do the rest of the metallics. I'll highlight them, and I'm going to use almost silver. Any very bright silver would be sufficient for this. I want a stark contrast for the metallics in the shadows and the metallics that are visible. And I'm taking a very soft bristled brush. That's just some makeup brush. And I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing. So first of all, take the base off again. And I'm looking for, obviously, the main gun. Just some gentle brushing. And as you can see, it's already working very good. And then I want the spines on the front, and also I'm going to dry brush this metal spine on the outside. I don't mind any overbrush, as I'm going to clean up later on anyway. It just gives the whole thing a metallic sheen, which I quite like, and think it does look great on those ships. All the guns. Those soft makeup brushes are wonderful dry brushes. They work wonders. So, and now it is basically dry brushed and done for the metallics. Now I'm going to edge highlight the guns with this metal, because I want the small guns to be extra shiny. For this I'm going to use a smaller brush. And then I'm just going to go in and edge highlight them a bit. Just soft touches are more than enough. To lose some detail here. To reapply a little bit of wash where I went overboard. So, as you can see here, I went a bit overboard with the highlight. Going to turn it down with some wash. Okay. Also gonna touch those defense lasers on the top. Very lightly. So the metallics are now done, completely done. I won't do anything more on those metallics. And now I'm going to paint the orange. And the orange is a bit tricky. But there's a technique I learned while painting terracotta tiles. So I'm going to use my orange, shake it up well. And I will show it on my wet palette what I'm going to do. So I need some of my bright orange. It's gross layer orange. Very bright orange. And now I'm going to add water. The brush is full of water. Mix it in. And this is now very, very runny, but it has the surface tension of the water. Now I will load my brush like this. And then I will just, it's a bit too much, and I will just touch the model and let the surface tension hold the paint on the panel. This works for all kinds of panels. More color, more paint. And it looks very wet, because it is. And this will then dry very, very smooth and give you a very good looking orange. Also, this works for yellow, white, all those colors that are harder to paint. But it will only work for stuff, for things that are raised, like panels. Because if you have something with more detail on it, the surface tension will break and then you won't have the same finish. Also, sometimes you get some bubbles. Just move them with the brush. Move them around until they pop to the corner of a panel. Don't be afraid to really flood the panel, basically. So here the surface tension will probably break because of the detail, but it will work anyway because the detail is erased. So I will go up to the detail and just flood it a bit. And I missed the panel to soak off the excess. So surface tension broke, and then I have to collect it back up. Works quite well though. I need more paint. and this is just something to practice, but after like 3 or 4 times you will get the hang of it. It's just important that it looks like one solid thick coat, even though it's very, very thin down. Okay, so this takes a while to dry. Now I'm going to paint those gun parts here as well. Those just need light touching on the sides to indicate the color. No need to go overboard. So there's this rifling here. This is what I'm going to skip painting. I'm just going in for the flat areas around it. Okay, so this orange will now take a while to dry. Then I will check and maybe do a second coat. And I'll be back when it's dry and done. And then we go to the next step. Okay, so the paint is now dry and I had to do a second coat on the front panel, but this is how it looks. If you do it right, it's a perfectly even flat coat you can work with. And now I'm going to edge highlight the orange panels. Going to use some Arial yellow, but any yellow would be fine. I chose yellow to highlight this. You could choose even a brighter orange if you have one, but I think yellow is fine. So now I will go just around the panels and edge highlight them. First of all, I'm going to do all of the edge highlights that are going into one direction. Easier for me to handle the model this way. I missed the edge here. So I just clean it up with a damp brush real quick. Let's turn the model around. Let's finish the front plates. So I want to clean up this edge highlight here a little bit. Take some orange, push it back, and some blue. Making the edge clean again. Okay. I'm just going around the model and edge highlight the orange plates. Last few plates here, and then I'm going to edge highlight the orange parts of the guns as well. Now for the guns. First I'm going to do this rifling on them. Camera's not in focus. This will change. Oops. A little bit of cleanup needed now. Where was I? Here. On the other side. Okay, so the orange is now done. So the metallic's done, the orange is done. Now I will use some contour blue and I will start cleaning up the panels, because with the wash on it, it is very, very dark. Also, there are still some metallic flakes on the model from the dry brushing. You can see them here, some flakes here. I want to clean those up, so I take my contour blue and then I will just go around the model and just reapply a quick base coat. As I think about it, I will only do up to this point because I want some lighter color in there, so just going to apply some thin counter blue to clean this all up. Just going around the model now. Also to have some value in the color. This is a step you could skip if you don't mind having the metallic flakes on some areas. I do not like it, so I will clean it up. Also some orange spillover. And I will explain later why I keep a dark area in the middle. It's for some highlight in the future. I will do. For the small cruisers, I don't do that, but the battleship is so big that it needs some value adjustment on the top. So that's the top part done. Turn this around now. I'm going to clean up this as well. Just treat it like a very wet dry brush at this point on some areas. Then I'm going to go in here, clean off the metallic flakes, get some of those panels here. It's more of a selected layer. No need to go deep into stuff. I just noticed that I forgot to highlight those defense lasers. There are more. Need some more lighting. I still have the metallic paint on the wet palette, so I can go back and forth between the paints. Just some quick adjusting. Where was I? Did this part, now here. To do some of those panels as well. Maybe with the camera focusing on it. So now those engine parts are It's very messy, so they really do need some cleanup. So I have a clear line of separation. So I'm going to paint those panels. Clean up the server. So I'm basically doing the cleanup and the first highlighting step in one go. And I'm missing all the deepest recesses. I'm just lightly touching it. So I'm only painting on top of the panels and not between the panels and get too much paint into the panel lines. Because I don't want that. Clean up on engine tops for this side as well. Now I'm going to clean up the guns. Like this. And now those panels down here need some cleanup. Also, I'm missing the parts between those details. I'm just focusing on panels and panels alone. Okay, now the outside around, turn it around, do it here as well. There we go. So the top part is done. Going to turn this around now. Now I'm going to do the bottom parts of those engine bits. Just cleaning up the bits between. I'll take off the base. So I'm just cleaning up the metallics that got dry brushed into deeper parts of the model. And also I'm going to clean up engine housings here. I missed something. Okay. Wherever I can notice some metallic shine, I just add a bit of blue over it. And also just highlighting. Some overbrushing on those creepy bits, that's enough. Clean up on the back engine. And this panel, so clean up here. Let's do on those parts where now I'm at it. Like this. Also this bottom armor plating here does need some cleanup. Now now the same on this side. Finger on this panel, blue here as well. Paint this. It's the bottom side here, not visible. That it's not washed at all. Some light overbrush in the hard to reach spots, that's more than enough. I am just cleaning up metallic flakes and brush over some of the panels. So now those bottom panels, Okay, so the last thing I need to do is this side of the engine housing. Some light overbrushing. And now this pro part is the last thing to do. Also, I missed a spot here. The good thing with dry brushing is that it will only catch the raised areas. So if I have to clean up, I'm basically just wet brushing over it and the metallic flakes will disappear very quickly. So I'm trying to use this to my advantage so I don't have to paint everything again. Just looking for some highlighting and a proper cleanup. Okay. Now I think I will clean up this in here as well. Even though you can't see it really, I still think I want to clean it up. Because I can see it. And then that's the last cleaning up I had to do. And now I'm going to do the highlight here. So I'm taking some Alitok blue, and I still have a lot of Cantor blue on my palette. And so I'm going to show my palette real quick. I just add a drop. That's very dry. Need some water. Just add those two together. So I get an intermediate blue between those two. Like this. Looks good. And now I'm going to do this top strip with this color. It will be a stark contrast at first, but when it dries, it's very subtle. So I'm going to just going over those parts with this paint. Also, this paint is very thin, so the underlying color will darken it as well when it dries. will keep those in shadow, so they will stay as they are. Get some of my yellow. Last few panels. I'm trying to apply the color on panels that are small, and in the middle, if I can't, because they go further, I just pick my line here. And as you can see, when it dries, it leaves a bit of a mark. So I'm going to blend it a bit, feather it out. I just need some of my contour blue, thin it with some water so it's way thinner. And now I'm going to do some blending. Some of the lighter color. Here. So I'm just blending in between them a little bit, not very precise. Doesn't need to be that precise, because as soon as I'm going to edge highlight, the stark difference will disappear anyway, because that's how optics work. Good. Starting to disappear with the contour blue blending. Also have some stark lines here, going to get blended as well. I'm basically just taking some thin contour blue, and when I paint over the part that's too stark of a contrast, when it dries, the contour blue, the thin contour blue, will darken the line and will disappear into the underlying contour blue. So it's very, very easy to blend. Just some quick and very easy blending steps. So I'm going to do a bit more of a highlight here. Did look a bit weird. And contour blue here, contour blue here. After a few coats of this, the lines just disappear. So they are basically gone now. And I have a highlighted ridge. So now I have some paint on the stem, which I want to clean up. So I'm taking my hobby knife. Going to scrape this clean now. As this is the last messier step now, the only thing left is just edge highlighting the blue. So I'm just quickly scraping away the paint from this clear pack. That's clean. Or clean enough, at least. And now I will do the last two steps actually. First of all, I'm going to sort my colors back where they came from. I take some off-white Ultron gray in my case. You could take any white, off-white you want. It's just for some spot coloring. Also, I will do a glow effect on the engines later, but for now I just want some of those to be white, so they look like crew quarters. And I missed it, of course. I need to go back with some blue in here. Okay. I don't like this. I need to clean this up. Here. And there. Okay. So I'm just now going around and picking some of those parts on the ship. I'll just put some white on it, or off-white. Off-white is better for this. So blue off-white is this. With a blue off-white it will cover in just one dab without any hassle. Maybe it covers too well. I always have the blue ready for cleaning up mistakes at this point. Where else? I do want some more in here. Maybe those three here. And those small ones here. Yeah. I don't have any in the back here. Actually, I think that's probably enough. So I did the same on my cruiser, picked some up. Looks good to me. I do this on the other side as well, so all of those. All of them? Yes, all of them. Then those three down there. And then those three here. And the ones in the front. Here. Those ones here. And I think that's fine. Yep. Some of them are white now. Also, while I'm at it, I'm going to use the white and lock in those engines. For a later step. Also known as engine glow. I would actually leave it at that if you're not keen on edge highlighting, but I think the edge highlight gives this paint scheme something. So I'm taking Tempelgrad blue, a very bright blue, almost turquoise. And now I'm going to highlight everything that's blue, basically, with an edge highlight. And just go around the whole ship. Again, you don't need to do this in general, but if you have a lot of panels, edge highlighting them looks very good. So I'm going to do this now, and I think you get the idea. Don't need to watch me do this for approximately an hour. But there are some parts which I want to highlight as well. So like those details here, they're going to get some highlight by just touching it. Like this, and I go around the model, and I have some raised details I'm going to highlight as well, like those. Some light touching is enough, so the color will just stay on it. So I go around the ship now, do this, and then I come back, show how it's looking, and then I will do the engines. Okay, so I have finished highlighting the ship. This is how it looks now. It's perfectly fine to keep it as is, but I'm going to do an engine effect now. And first of all, I'm going to use a blue wash or contrast paint in my case. Doesn't matter if you use a wash or a contrast paint. But I want it to be blue, so I'm taking a blue one. I use Talus blue. And I do a little bit of it on my wet palette, and then I add the same amount of medium to it because Talus blue is quite strong. If the blue color you use is not as strong, you don't need to thin it. But Talus blue is a very, very strong color. It tints the model a lot. And now I'm just going to paint the rear parts of the engine. It is quite stark now. It will dull down a bit when it dries. Also, I painted my finger. Okay, so I want this to be quite thin. And now I clean my brush and I will feather this a bit. So the clean damp brush, I just go in and just stipple this a bit and feather it out. So it's not as strong. Contrast wise here. Also the blue then will bleed over a bit into the rest of the metallic. You could do this with with an airbrush, but I find it to be more of a hassle to pull out the airbrush this whole thing on, and then clean the airbrush again. So this needs to dry now. It will take a while, and then I will continue with the next step, which is some dry brush for those engine parts. And then the model is finished. I will add a decal, and that's how I am going to do this. So I'll let this dry and I'll be back. Okay, so the engines are now dry. And now I'm going to dry brush them a bit. I'm using my fluffy dry brush, makeup brush, loaded with some of the agitite color. And I still have some of the white left here. I will use in a second. So first of all, some light dry brushing with the blue. Just very light. And then I'm going to mix the blue, a bit of my white, to get somewhat of kind of this color. And now I'm going to dry brush that as well, even lighter. Just so I catch the most raised parts. And now I take the dry brush, dab it in the white, so it's even lighter, more white, and then just on the ends. Okay, wash it out, and now as a last step, as you can see, the engines are kind of uneven in color, so I take the white I dry brushed and just paint over it lightly, so it does look like a glowing engine. My camera won't focus on it. No. There we go. Now the ship is done and painted. And I will add a decal now for the ship's name. I think I will call it. So I have a sheet of Egyptian names. Already used some for other ships. And I'm going to look for one I kinda like for my battleship. This one, Nefertem. I think that's a great name for the battleship. Just cut it out. There it is, my decal. Now we take some tweezers and a brush. And first of all, soak it in some water. I use my paint water as I do clean it out ever so often. And now I'm going to place my decal. So it's a long name. Can I get this decal now? please. Okay. So I think this will fit on here quite nicely. So this is where I place it. Already cutting off. Okay. Just need to place it properly now. Need some more water to soften the decal. So I think that looks in line. No. I just press out the rest of the water. And right now it's very shiny, but I will fix this. First, I'm going to take, I need Lamian medium and hard coat, so some gloss varnish, any gloss varnish would do just fine. So take a little bit of gloss varnish. An older brush, because I don't want to get my good brushes full of varnish. This will damage the brush inevitably. And then I just paint a thin coat of gloss varnish over the whole panel where the name is. Also, this water is now contaminated with gloss varnish and not usable for any other brush. So if you ever use gloss varnish, maybe use a second water container. And after this has dried, I will use Lamian medium, and Lamian medium will just take off the shine. And then the ship is finished. So that's the UCMS Nefertem. And I think it does look quite good and will fit in the fleet. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.